Or if you're more of an early bird, then come join us at the 9:15 service. But that brings us to, let us return to this time and place, this gathering at the very last few days of 2025, a time for us to reflect, to center ourselves, to engage in some embodied practice. And we will begin our worship service. I invite you to center yourself however is best for you. We acknowledge with respect the Seneca Nation, keepers of the Western Door, and part of the Haudenosaunee people on whose ancestral and contemporary lands First Unitarian now stands. And I invite up Aurora Hatchell to light our chalice. As we share in our unison words, we are simplified in our slides, so I don't actually think we have slides to provide, but for those of you who know it, please join me. How does it begin? Life is a mystery. There we go. So please join me. Life is a mystery for which we are grateful. We gather to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
Well, I ask you to, before we begin our practice, listen to a little story I have. Imagine a bunch of puppies jumping around, yipping, rolling around all over a rug. This is akin to a group of kindergarten students. And that's where my story begins. I was at school, and I knew I was going to cover teaching an English language arts class for my colleague who was absent that day. And as I walked into the classroom, we'd gotten the children from lunch, walked them into the classroom, and they were a roiling bunch of kindergarten students. And I was prepared to be kind of team teaching this class with my colleague, a retired colleague who was substituting, but she wasn't in the room yet. And I got up to the front of the rug, and I just watched the puppies roil all over, playing with each other, and I was like, time for yoga. So I got their attention. I said, friends, imagine you're a mountain. Grounding your feet into the floor, zooming toward the sky. You are a mountain. They started to look at me. And then I said, okay, now, right on top of the mountain, there is this beautiful, beautiful tree. And I asked them to put their foot right here. And then the tree started to grow. Sometimes you fall off, that's okay. It blows around, but you just come back on. And gosh darn it, most of those kids were looking at me at that point. I had their focus. There were a couple over at the sink making waterfalls with their hands, but I wasn't going to worry about that. And that's why we come to church. So we can practice paying attention. Maybe it's paying attention to a friend from church and listening to them deeply. Maybe it's coming back after you fall out of tree pose. You're there. Maybe it's singing in a group and really paying attention to that experience. So I'm so glad you're here to join me for some chair yoga. I do have a few disclaimers, though. As with all physical activity and yoga, I trust you to listen to your body and follow what you can do. All right? So that's the first paying attention that's really important as we start to practice. If you ever feel a strong, sharp pain in a localized area, or you feel some part of an existing injury being aggravated, I really invite you to just sit back and rest. Okay? Sound good? Okay, wonderful. All right, so first we're going to start with just centering ourselves. So You can come up to the edge of the chair. You're going to hip walk your pelvis to the end of the chair and feel those bones right at the bottom of your pelvis placed on the cushion of the chair, and your hands just gently on your thighs. And one thing we can use in yoga to bring our puppy-like mind back is following the breath. So bring your attention to the breath. You can close your eyes. You can lower your gaze. And with each inhalation, you're growing taller. Now I invite you to put your hands on your ribs, okay? And so that your index, your middle finger is just gently touching. And just notice how your fingers are moved as you're inhaling and exhaling. Widening, the fingers spread apart as you inhale, and then exhaling, flowing the air down, down, down through your feet. So now as you inhale, just count how long it takes you to come to your full breath, whatever that may be. And then see if you can count the same amount out as you're exhaling. So finish one more round of that breath, inhaling to your comfort, counting, and then exhaling back that same amount. All right, and then open your eyes gently. Bring your hands to your thighs, and we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up here. And first, hands to your thighs. We're just going to gently fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhaling long, and then folding forward about halfway, 45 degrees or so. And then exhaling back up. Inhaling long, and then exhaling forward. Inhaling long, and then exhaling forward. Can you feel yourself moving from your hips? Inhaling up. Exhaling long. Wonderful. All right, so now we're going to do a little cat-cow sitting up. I'm going to sit this way so people can see. Inhaling long. You feel you're extending, growing your spine toward the ceiling, feeling your chin sliding back. And then exhaling, curling your shoulders forward so that your spine is in a C. And then inhaling up. Curling your shoulders forward so your spine is in a C. Inhaling long, lifting the sternum. Curling forward. Inhaling long. Great. So now, take your left arm, hanging down toward the floor. We're going to inhale it up and reaching laterally, making a C with your side body, And exhaling back to the other side. Inhaling the right arm up. Exhaling over. And inhaling up. Exhaling back. Wonderful. So now let's turn toward our left side. A little bit of a rotation. And exhaling back to center. And as we rotate, first we'll feel a long spine, lengthened, and then inhaling toward the right. A little bit of a twist. And we'll stay here and lengthen our spine again. And then any amount, turning in a little more toward your right leg. And then inhaling back to center. Okay, so we're gonna put this together as a flow, all right? So we're gonna inhale long, folding forward, inhaling long again, shoulders rolling over for a C, inhaling long, exhaling, inhaling up that left arm, exhaling back, inhaling the right arm, exhaling back, and then we'll fold forward again. Inhaling up, curling your shoulders forward like a C, exhaling up, inhaling up the left arm, extending over, exhaling back. It's almost like we're dancing to John's music. Wonderful. So now in this one, friends, let's really fold forward. See if we can match our breath with the movements. Exhaling forward. Inhaling long. Exhaling, curving the shoulders forward. Inhaling long. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Now bring your hands to your thighs. Find your mountain pose sitting and feel your body. And what do you notice? All right, so you can bring your eyes open. I'm going to show two different variations of this next warm-up, and you choose what works for you. So if we're doing this move, this pose, it's called Moonflower. If we're doing it in the chair, we're going to have our legs spread wide, about 10 and 2. And we're going to have our arms, bringing our arms down in a kind of 90-degree angle. And imagine you have a walnut behind your back, and you're trying to squeeze that walnut with your shoulder blades, okay? And at the same time, as we inhale and then exhale, we're pressing our big toe into the floor and lifting our inner heel, okay? So inhaling up, press the big toe in, lift the inner heel. So your legs should feel pretty active there. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Great. Okay, that's the chair version. So anyone who wants to try the standing version, join me behind your chair. And we'll have the same, actually I'll shift over here. We'll have the same setup, 10 and 2. Okay? And we're going to first, you can have your hands on the chair as we begin this. You, again, listening to your body, your level of balance, what you need. So inhaling and then exhaling, pressing the big toes into the floor, feeling the inner heels lifting, and then pressing back up. Now you can add the arms, exhaling and pressing up. Exhaling and pressing up. Exhaling and pressing up. Good. So now I'm going to add, we're going to circle swing our arms down. Everyone come on up with your standing tall, with your legs spread for moonflower. This time we're going to circle swing our arms down and bend forward a little bit. That's sunflower pose, I think. And then inhaling up. Okay? And then we'll do moonflower. Inhaling up. Circle swing the arms around, bending forward. Inhaling up. So again, you can choose whether you wish to do it in the chair or standing. Okay? Forward fold, folding forward a little bit. Inhaling up. This is a great warm-up for your legs. You can make your legs really work by pressing that big toe mound in, lifting the inner heel. Inhaling up. Exhaling to moonflower. And then inhaling up. And then hands together. Walking your feet together, shoulder width apart. And feel your body. Release the toes. Notice perhaps where you're clenching, relax the jaw. All right. So now I invite you to take a seat at the chair, and Reverend AJ is going to do the next part.
The next part. Well, when we gather for worship on our Sunday mornings, we take a collection to support the work and witness of Unitarian Universalism in Rochester and in our world. Because everything that we do together is made possible by what we give from our time, our talents, and our treasure towards our shared mission. So normally we split what we gather on these mornings with a local organization doing good work. But this morning, everything that we collect will go towards our Grace Fund here at First Unitarian. This fund helps care for our community in times of joy, sorrow, and transition. It can help pay the energy bill when money is tight, send flowers on somebody's 100th birthday, and many other ways that our community manifests care for each other. So using Church Center is the easiest way to give, and you can follow the QR code on the screen to do that. But if you aren't set up with the app yet, you can also give using the text to give instructions or by the baskets that will now be passed. In the spirit of abundance and generosity, the offering will now be given and humbly received.
There we go. Before we get up to do some more active poses from the chair or standing up near the chair, I'd love for you all to come to the edge of your seat again. Find those the bones there, the bottom of your pelvis. Okay? And my mantra, long spine, lifting your head, almost like you're growing a vine through the top of your head, feeling your chin sliding back. And here's a new thing to think about. What would it feel like if you imagine that this chair was in a door frame and you were trying to move your shoulders to either side of the door frame? Notice how that changes the position of your upper chest. Okay? So with that, let's extend our left leg so that your heel, the left heel, is resting on the floor. And what I'd like you to do is if you could bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to inhale and then bend forward, not from here, but hinging from the hips. And you go as far as you can go until your hips stop, and then you stop. All right, so let's try that. Extending the left leg. We're long, and then we're going to hinge from our hips. And your extended leg is active, pressing your heel into the floor, really engaging that thigh muscle, okay? And we'll inhale, exhaling, almost like you're trying to zoom your heel into the floor. Okay? And then inhaling up. And then extending the right leg. Once again, hinging from the hips, pressing the heel, engaging that right leg thigh, and folding forward. Okay? Inhaling, exhaling, and then inhaling back up. Great. Okay, so this next pose is called chair pose. It's also called the fierce pose. And I'm going to show you the chair version, and then I'll show you the standing version. So if we're doing chair pose in a chair, you're going to remain sitting, but the action is you're almost starting to get up off the chair, but you don't have to, okay? So feel your feet. Feel that front toe, the big toe. Feel the outer edge of your heel, the inner edge of your heel, okay? And then, inhaling, imagine you're going to stand up, but don't. And you hinge forward a little. Maybe you can bring your arms up, or you can keep your arms here, okay? You choose what works for you. And we'll try. Can we keep this for 3 breaths? Inhaling. Exhaling. Keep your feet active. And inhaling up again, arms down, and relax. Okay. Please join me standing if you want to try this pose standing. Okay. And always, you can repeat the pose in a sitting posture as we just worked on. Okay, so we'll start the pose. You can have your fingertips on the chair. And we're going to work again on sitting back, not like this, but sitting back in a squat, and then feeling most of your weight coming into your heels. Okay? You can keep your hands here. You could try lifting one arm up. You could try both. And then we're really working on not this, but can we lift the sternum, zoom our arms away, feel the chin sliding back, okay? All right, so inhaling up to standing. Feel your body. I'm feeling my thighs. I don't know about you. That's a good pose, man. Okay, so let's try it again, either at the chair or standing up. Take your pose, sitting back, hinging at the hips. And then to make a little more intensity. Now, can you relax and have stability at the same time? Can you find your breath? All right, and inhaling up. Whew, good work, everybody. Okay, so now we're going to come back to the chair, and I want to show you some lunges. Okay, so to do a lunge in the chair, we're going to start with our left leg and maybe shift your pelvis a bit just over toward the left side of the chair. And then, actually I'll turn this way. You're going to let the right leg come back and your toes are curled under and you're gently pressing the foot into the rug, into the floor, okay? And then your right leg, the ankle is right over the knee, right under the knee, and you're pressing that foot into the floor as well, okay? So you can stay here with your hands. Okay. So that's the lunge for the when you're doing the chair. So why doesn't everyone stand up? And I'll show you on the other side the lunge standing. And like I said, stay seated if you prefer to work on it seated, okay? So we just did the left leg back, so let's do the right leg back. You'll need to stand behind your chair, so make sure, you might want to move your chair forward a little just so you have enough room. Okay? Great. All right. So now we're going to go with the right leg back. Standing tall, feeling your feet. And then lifting the right foot back, toes curled under. And we want to also feel that our torso is lifted. You can use the chair to give you that rebound effect. Okay? Look down at your left knee. Okay, now I'm running into the thing that many yoga teachers run into. Which side are we on? So I invite you to keep track on your own because it's hard to remember. So anyway, the leg that's in the front, the knee should be over the ankle, okay? Now we're going to come close, we're going to step forward and back up to standing. Let's take some mountain pose, yogis. Okay, feel your feet. Inhaling long. That wonderful vine of your spine is growing upward. The chin is sliding back. Feel those shoulder blades moving toward, the shoulders moving toward the door frame. All right. So now we're going to learn the Swiss Army knife of all yoga poses. Have a seat. My teacher, Francois Rouault, he calls this the Swiss Army knife of all yoga poses because it's an inversion, it's a forward fold, and it's an extension, which is way cool. Downward facing dog. So if we're doing downward facing dog in the chair, it's going to be a bit like our warm-up where we were folding forward like this. So long spine, chin sliding back, and then inhaling, folding forward, just about 45 degrees. And then for the final, can you bring your hands together, just not really past your head, but so you can see your hands. And then it'd be good also to bring your gaze down. So that's downward facing dog in the chair. Inhaling back, arms down. So the one thing we really hope for in downward facing dog is a long spine. So this is more of a forward fold, and it's not the essence of downward facing dog. We're looking to have that long spine and hinging at the hips. Okay? So let me show you how we can do that with a chair. If we're in the chair, we're going to stand behind. You guys want to join me? Anyone who wants to try downward facing dog standing? Okay. You'll have your hands to the chair, and we're going to walk. This is the theme, seems today, for poses. We're hinging at the hips again. We're going to walk back and see if we can feel our ankles under our hips and a long spine. Your arms are active, pressing into the top of the chair. Legs are active, engaging those quads. Okay? Now, to come out, everyone, you're going to bend your knees, step forward on whatever leg you choose, and then use that strength to bring yourself up to standing. Okay? Great. So now I'd like to do a little bit of a flow. Choose your favorite place, sitting on the chair or standing. Okay? And I invite you to choose whatever leg you want. I'm just going to call it the front leg. All right, so we're going to start with our lunges. Everyone actually, we're going to talk about the back leg. Put the one leg back. You choose which one. And once again, you're up on your toes, okay? Inhaling long, pressing into the chair. And then stepping forward on the front leg and bringing your leg together. And then we'll do some downward facing dog, walking the hips back. Let's try 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Remember, if it's in a chair, you're folding forward, hands together. There we go. And now, choose that leg that was going forward, step forward, knees bent, and then press yourself up to standing. Great. Now we're going to go back with the other leg, bringing the other leg back for our lunge. Pressing into the chair, and then inhaling back up. And then walking your feet back for downward facing dog, long spine. Inhaling, exhaling, pressing your hands into the chair, pressing your feet into the floor, engaging the quads. All right, so now bend your knees, walk whatever leg you please forward, and come up to standing. So inhaling up, hands to prayer, and take a few breaths. Feel your body. Wonderful. Let's do it one more time. Okay? So everyone, starting with our lunge, we're going to step back with the left leg. Find your lunge, either in the chair, okay? And then stepping forward, weight on that right leg again, bringing yourself up to standing. And now exhaling back to downward facing dog. Let's try 3 breaths here, yogis. Inhaling, exhaling. Lift your tailbone if you can lift your tailbone as you exhale. All right, so bend the knees, bring the left leg forward, and then step forward up. Now, stepping back with the left leg. Find your lunge, curling the toes under the left leg. And then weight back on the other leg, standing tall. And then walking forward. Walking back from the chair into downward facing dog, long. All right, and then step 1, bend your knees, step 1 foot forward, pressing yourself up. Inhaling up. Hands to prayer. And feel your body. Notice your breath. Without changing it. Feel how that's moving that, some yogis like to say, prana around in your body. All right. Arms come to your sides. Let's inhale up our shoulders. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. All right. Now it's time for Vrikshasana, tree pose. So the chair is a wonderful thing. If you're doing, very important. If you're doing tree pose at the chair, you're going to take one foot and put it on the other foot, letting, let's say we're starting with the left leg. The leg is falling out, okay? You find your balance, and then maybe you can bring your arms up. And exhaling back. So yogis who are continuing to sit, you can join us on the other side. Yogis who want to try standing. We'll start with the left leg and use the chair to support your balance in whatever way you need, okay? We can start tree pose with 2 hands. We could do tree pose with 1 hand and 1 arm up or both arms, all right? So I invite you, as we're working on tree pose, to notice when you bring your foot, can everyone lift up their right foot and put it gently on top of your left foot? Notice what your left hip does. You see how it moves out? So we want to have that hip suck right in. And that's going to come from pressing into your big toe and lifting your inner heel. You feel that inner side of your left leg become engaged. Okay? And then you choose where you want to be. You could be here on your shin. I do recommend not putting it directly on your knee, your foot. Some people can go this far up. Sometimes it's a little hard for me. So you choose whatever works for you. Okay? And then from here, you choose which arms you want to do. You could do this, this. And you'll fall in and out. And it's not about keeping your foot off. It's more about how you come back to balance. And then you find one thing to look at, probably not me, because that'll be distracting. So, okay? All right, and relax. Whew. All right, let's shift to the other side of the chair. Yogis remaining in the chair, you'd shift your legs, okay? So once again, we have to build our pose. Check that, let's see who did. Check the right hip. Make sure that right hip is coming in toward the midline, okay? And you're gonna feel that by lifting your inner heel and pressing down with your big toe of your right foot, okay? Now we wanna make ourselves big and long. You choose where you wanna take your tree pose, Vrikshasana. Are we paying attention? Oh, yeah. Right? All right, and release. Great work, yogis. Come back down and have a seat. All right, we're gonna do one more little hamstring stretch again. Stretch out your left leg. Same thing we did before. Hinging at the hips. Active legs. Inhaling long. And exhaling back. Bring that left leg back. Now extend the right leg. Heel on the floor. Inhaling long. Folding forward, exhaling, hinging at the hips, and inhaling up. Wonderful. All right, we're going to throw over the program here to Reverend AJ.
Now that we have, thank you, Jenny. Now that we have engaged in some of the embodiment and physical movement of yoga, I invite you to remain in a seated mountain pose, perhaps. You can relax if you need to, or stay in an engaged yoga pose through joining me in the spirit of prayer, reflection, and meditation. In chapter 2 of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, in the succinct verse 48, it reads in Sanskrit, Sthira Sukham Asanam, which translates to say that one's posture, one's asana, one's pose should be steady and easy. Not stretching to achieve something unrealistic or dangerous, but steady and grounded. May our spirits and minds this morning be as steady and easeful as our bodies in yoga practice. May we find through our breath, through the practice in community, may we find from teachers and from art and music that inspires us the groundedness of knowing ourselves, knowing who we are, knowing what this body is, knowing who we are in relation to others, and knowing all that we are capable of in our minds and our hearts and our bodies. We gather in this period between holidays and New Year with all that the festivities may have brought us, both good and ill, both chaotic and calm, both joyful and sorrowful. May we breathe all of it in, paying attention to what our heart is teaching us. May we enter this new year grounded in the practices of love, steady and full of ease, striving to make life easy for others around us, and practicing love in all things. May it be so. and blessed be.
Cool down a little bit, but I think we've warmed up enough that we can do a deeper stretch. So I'm going to invite everyone to join me in pigeon pose. So as we're sitting at the chair, there are various options. You can just bring your foot to one side, letting one leg fall out to the side. That could be your pigeon pose, keeping both sneakers on the floor. You could make it a little more intense by bringing your foot up to the top of your other shoe, letting the leg fall out to the side. Or, for the full pose, you could bring your ankle up to the other leg. So figure out which one works for you, okay? So again, our theme is, I feel like, about the feet a bit. So be aware of that right foot and really feel all the three corners of that, the 3 points of that right foot, below the big toe, but behind the pinky toe, and then the heel, okay? And then bringing your hands to, if you have it up on your thigh, your ankle up on your thigh, bring your hands to your shin, inhaling, and then just gently as you exhale, can you bring that left knee away? And this is really where we're paying attention, because we don't want to do anything to the knee. So listening very carefully to your knee. And then if you want, inhaling long, you could even, hinging again at the hips, bring your torso forward any amount. Okay? Check in with that standing leg. Are you grounding the big toe? Are you lifting your inner heel? Okay. And inhaling back up. And release. Let's bring both feet, bring your feet to touch, both legs falling apart. That could be our little bit of bound angle pose. You could try seeing what it feels like to press any part of your sneakers together. Keeping a long spine. All right, and release. So now we'll bring the right foot up to the way you wish to do pigeon pose. To the side of the foot, on top of the foot. And then the right ankle over the left knee. Okay? Find that bracing along your shin. And then any amount, can you feel that the right knee moving away and flexing that right foot. Okay? Then you can go a little deeper, inhaling long, hinging at the hips, any amount. Inhaling, exhaling. All right, and inhaling up. And letting the legs come down. All right, so now I'd like to do a twist, and this will happen we're going to turn to our left, our whole body, so that your, turn to left, so that your right arm is holding on to is in the front, holding onto the back of the chair, and then your left arm is behind, holding onto the other side. Okay? So before we do rotation, let's see if we can grow our spine long. So really lifting the spine, feel that door frame, bring your shoulders toward the door frame. Let the chin slide back. We're inhaling and then exhaling, rotating any amount toward the back of the chair. Inhaling long and exhaling, rotating any amount toward the chair. All right, and then as you release your arms, can you keep that length in your spine as you turn back toward the front of the chair? Keep that long spine. There you go. Okay. We don't want to be lopsided, so we have to do the other side. Okay, so everyone's shifting, turning over toward the right, bringing your left arm to the front. Okay? And before we move into our rotation, let's see if we can lengthen our spine. Feel those moving your shoulders toward the door frame. And then exhaling, rotating any amount toward that chair. Relax your shoulders. Listening to your body. And release back. Keeping the length of your spine. Oh, everyone looks taller. Very pleased. Okay. So now we're going to start taking some time to pay attention within us. Hopefully, we hope my hopes is the yoga practice has helped us come into our body a little more, and that way our time of stillness in Shavasana can come perhaps with more ease. Okay? But first I want to do a little bit of breathing. So you have your hands on your knees. And imagine that you have a ball of air or a big balloon growing. Everybody let that balloon grow up. And then exhaling back. Let the hands float up. Exhaling back. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. One more time. Floating your arms. Wonderful. Now I want to do a little cloud hand. So we're going to have our hands like this. And turning toward your left. Now you're going to switch the hands. Bringing your hands across your body to the right. And now switch your hands. Back to the left. All right, if you feel you really know the pattern now, let's see, can you follow the movement with your breath? Exhaling on the side, inhaling to center, exhaling on the side, inhaling to center. Now in this last round, just watch your breath. Just witness it. And then come back with your ball. Hands falling to your thighs. Now I invite you to do a little sound meditation with me. I invite you to listen for the highest sound you can hear in your environment. Now listen for the lowest sound you can hear. Now listen for the sound that seems the farthest away. And now, how about that sound that's closest to you? Maybe it's the sound of your breath. All right, you can gently start to wiggle your fingers and crack your eyes open a little bit. Stretch the arms long, up, in. This Anjali Mudra. And say namaste. Namaste to all.
Thank you again, Jenny and John, for bringing us this morning of yoga practice. But of course, when worship ends, church does not. We have connections following this service. So as I said, if you are new or newish or just curious about the liturgical year here and what we do in worship, we'll be talking about that in the Inquirer series in room 119. The Nature-Based Spirituality group is doing a New Year's activity of release and intentions. Upstairs, the This Is What Democracy Looks Like group is gathering, as is Parenting Matters. The Buddhist Fellowship program was canceled, so that one is not happening. And for those who are willing and able, and perhaps doing this as an additional moving meditation, you can help us stack the chairs and push them back against the back wall where the other chairs are currently stacked up. You can help us do that after we close the service by extinguishing our chalice. And again, we are on our own, and I think I know these words a little bit more memorized, so please join me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Beloveds, go forward into the new year, grounded in who you are, finding steadiness and ease, and transforming the world to make that possible for others. I love you. Go in peace. Blessed be.
Yes. Hi, Minnie.